Every one of us at some point feels like life is spinning out of control, whether it's a lost job, a broken relationship, or just the chaotic pace of daily routines. These moments can leave us feeling helpless and overwhelmed, but what if I told you there's a way to not just survive these challenges, but to thrive amidst them? Today, we're going to dive deep into the wisdom of Seneca, an ancient philosopher who mastered the art of maintaining peace in a tumultuous world. His teachings on Stoicism aren't just philosophical musings, they are practical strategies that have powered leaders, thinkers, and individuals through the ages and can empower us today. By the end of this video, you'll have a toolkit of Stoic principles to help you cultivate mental toughness and reclaim control over your emotions and reactions, no matter what life throws your way. Stick with me and let's explore how these ancient secrets can be applied to modern life for a calmer, more centered existence. If you appreciate what we're doing here and want to support the channel, a simple free favor I'll ask from you is to hit the subscribe button. It helps us keep bringing content like this to you. Also, I encourage you not to skip any part of the video. If you're here, you're not like the majority, you're someone who sees the value in diving deep, so consider yourself an exception. Seneca's wisdom, to be everywhere is to be nowhere, captures a crucial principle that is often overlooked in our modern rush to do more and be more. The idea of focusing on one activity at a time is central to Stoic philosophy and can transform how we approach our daily tasks. In a world that celebrates the myth of multitasking, we need to pause and reconsider the effectiveness of this approach. When we try to multitask, we're spreading our attention thin, which can lead to increased mistakes and decreased quality of work. Marcus Aurelius echoed this sentiment when he advised, "Concentrate every minute like a Roman, on doing what's in front of you, with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions." This focus is not just about improving productivity, it's about cultivating a quality of mind that values depth over breadth. Focusing on one activity at a time allows us to immerse ourselves fully in the task at hand, whether it's a professional assignment, a personal project, or a meaningful conversation. This kind of deep work fosters a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Plato might argue that this singular focus helps us access a higher form of beauty and truth in our work, as it allows us to give our best effort and to create something that resonates with the ideals of goodness and excellence. Moreover, the psychological benefits of focusing on one task at a time are significant. It reduces the cognitive load on our brains, minimizing stress and enhancing our decision-making capabilities. Aristotle, who valued the development of virtues through habitual right action, would likely support this practice as a way to develop the virtue of temperance, or self-control, helping us regulate our desire for distraction and immediate gratification. In practicing this focused approach, we not only follow the footsteps of Stoic philosophers but also align with the teachings of modern psychology, which suggest that our brains are not wired to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously. The quality of our work and our life improves when we give our full attention to one thing at a time. Socrates' method of deep inquiry and dialogue, focusing intensely on one subject to the exclusion of all else, exemplifies how powerful this method can be. Embracing this Stoic principle doesn't just make us more productive, it makes us more thoughtful, peaceful, and balanced individuals. It is a rejection of the chaos of modern multitasking and an embrace of a more deliberate and purposeful mode of being. As we practice this, we might find that not only do our results improve, but so does our overall well-being. Seneca's insight, "All the greatest torments are the result of an undisciplined mind," reveals a profound truth about human nature. Our unchecked impulses can be the source of immense emotional turmoil and suffering. Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of self-control and rational thinking, provides us with a framework to address this challenge. Rather than suppressing our emotions, which is neither healthy nor sustainable, Stoicism teaches us to understand and manage them. The process of managing our impulses begins with self-awareness. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, famously said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This statement highlights the necessity of self-mastery in achieving true freedom and happiness. By becoming more aware of our impulses and the triggers that set them off, we are better equipped to handle them rationally. This doesn't mean denying our feelings, but understanding them deeply enough that we can respond in ways that align with our long-term goals and values. In the realm of philosophy, Aristotle also spoke about the importance of moderating our impulses through the development of virtues. He believed that virtue lies in finding the balance between excess and deficiency, a concept known as the golden mean. For instance, courage is the mean between recklessness and cowardice. Applying this to impulse control, we seek to find a balance between spontaneous reactions and complete inaction, aiming for thoughtful, deliberate responses that reflect our best selves. Moreover, practicing philosophy as a guide to controlling our impulses involves cultivating rational thought as a habit. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often reflected on the importance of aligning thoughts with rational and virtuous principles. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This perspective encourages us to focus on our internal responses rather than external provocations, thereby gaining greater control over our impulses. By critically examining our impulses with the aid of philosophical wisdom, we can begin to make choices that are not dictated by fleeting emotions, but are the result of careful thought and reflection. This practice not only strengthens our mental fortitude but also helps us live more harmoniously with our values. It leads to a life where decisions are made not in the heat of the moment but with a clear, composed mind. The Stoic approach to impulse control is about cultivating an inner dialogue that constantly questions and assesses our instinctive reactions. It is about making philosophy not just a subject we study but a way we live our lives, allowing us to rise above immediate gratifications and achieve a deeper sense of satisfaction and purpose. Seneca, which is all about being prepared, famously said, "Rehearse them in your mind, exile, torture, war, shipwreck. All the turns of our human lot should be before our eyes." This advice might sound a bit dramatic at first. After all, not all of us are navigating the high seas or entering battle. But what Seneca is getting at here is the concept of mental preparation for life's inevitable challenges, a cornerstone of Stoic resilience. Stoicism teaches us to anticipate and mentally rehearse for the worst, not to fill us with dread, but to diminish the shock and pain when difficulties do occur. This practice is known as premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It's about visualizing the most challenging scenarios, not to worry obsessively, but to be emotionally and mentally equipped when life throws its curveballs. Think about it this way: athletes practice under tough conditions to prepare for the strain of actual competition. Similarly, by mentally rehearsing challenging situations, we train our minds to handle stress and adversity with less panic and more poise. This Stoic practice helps us appreciate our current state. When we realize how much worse things could be, our everyday problems seem less overwhelming. Applying this Stoicism doesn't mean living in constant anxiety about what could go wrong. Rather, it's about having a realistic acknowledgement of potential negative outcomes. For example, if you're worried about job security, instead of spiraling into fear, you could start preparing by updating your resume, enhancing your skills, or even exploring alternate career paths. This way, if the worst were to happen, you're not caught off guard and are better positioned to handle the situation. Moreover, this principle extends beyond personal crises. It's about maintaining a level of readiness for any significant changes in our lives, from financial instability to personal loss. By staying prepared, we not only shield ourselves from the initial shock but also quicken our recovery and adjustment periods. We become less reactive and more responsive, a subtle but powerful shift in handling life's uncertainties. Seneca's counsel helps us forge a mindset where we are not overwhelmed by adversity but are fortified against it. This mental readiness is not about expecting the worst, but about being prepared to deal with any situation, thereby enhancing our resilience and overall mental toughness. Through this Stoic lens, we see not just the potential for loss or hardship, but also the opportunity for growth and renewal in every challenge. Another profound insight from Seneca, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body," speaks to a practice that can seem counterintuitive at first: voluntarily embracing hardships. It's about deliberately choosing to experience discomfort not as a form of punishment, but as a way to fortify our mental resilience and expand our capacity to handle life's inevitable challenges. Think about what it means to voluntarily embrace hardships. It's like an athlete who trains under harsh conditions to prepare for a competition. The athlete understands that by pushing the limits in a controlled environment, they're better prepared for the stresses of the actual event. Similarly, By choosing to face difficulties head-on, whether that's taking on a challenging project at work, speaking up in public, or even opting to live more simply, we enhance our mental toughness and adaptability. Seneca's approach teaches us that when we step out of our comfort zones on purpose, we're not just testing our limits, we're expanding them. For example, if you dread public speaking, regularly putting yourself in situations where you must speak in front of others can transform your fear into a skill. Over time, what once felt insurmountable becomes manageable and eventually comfortable. This Stoic practice is not about seeking out suffering for its own sake, but about recognizing that